The House Appropriations Subcommittee on Labor and Economic Opportunity will come to order. Mr. Clerk, will you please read the roll today?
Chair Jenkins-Arnold.
Here.
Representatives Robinson.
Here.
Van Workum. Cavitt. And Martus.
Here.
Madam Chair, majority of members are present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you. Rep. Robinson moves to approve the minutes of the March 3rd meeting. There be no objections. The minutes are approved. And I just want to say thanks to everybody for being here. We're going to get moving quickly because we're on a limited amount of time. So with that, we'll call Rep. Alexander up with the Sanilac County Community Foundation. And go ahead whenever you're ready. And we do have a timer up here. We're going to stick closely to our 5 minutes. And so if you can kind of hear the thing go off, kind of wind things up.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Yes, thank you and good morning, Chair Arno and the members of the subcommittee for the opportunity to speak. I'm in here in support of a $2 million request for Sanilac County Community Foundation on behalf of Tierney Park Conservancy to complete improvements to the Patrick Tierney Park in Lexington, Michigan. This project represents a strategic investment in a community anchor that drives tourism, supports small business, and strengthens the regional economy. When we invest in public spaces that connect with visitors to local commerce, we multiply that return in every public dollar spent. This request is locally supported, financially responsible, and economically transformational for the Thumb region. It ensures that existing state and local investments reach their full potential and that this project is completed in the right way, not in phases and not partially. What I'd like to do at this point is introduce Joshua Robinson, the Executive Director of the Sanilac County Community Foundation, to provide additional details.
Hi, good morning, committee members. Thank you for having us today. As Mr. Gregory Alexander introduced me, I am Joshua Robinson, the Executive Director of the Sanilac County Community Foundation, the grantee, if provided, of this project. We have been around since 1997 in the Sanilac County region, serving as our nonprofit for community development. Through this proposed project, we are partnering with the Tierney Park Conservancy. In the audience, we have Tierney Park Conservancy President, Mr. David Derrida, as well as Tierney Park Conservancy Vice President Stacy Fox in the audience. I'd like to now invite Mr. Derrida to speak on behalf of the Conservancy.
Thank you, Josh. Good morning, Chair Jenkins-Arno and committee members. Thank you for allowing me to speak today on behalf of the Tierney Park Conservancy and, of course, the Sanilac County Community Foundation. We are seeking funding to assist the Village of Lexington with the completion of a major renovation of Patrick Tierney Park, its primary public gathering space. The park's renovation is being undertaken by the village in connection with the redevelopment of the adjacent Lexington State Harbor, a project that is being overseen by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. This $16.5 million effort involves the replacement of the current marina docks and infrastructure, as well as substantial renovation of the breakwater structure, which maintains the Lexington Harbor. In addition, the project includes the planned full renovation of the immediately adjacent 3-acre Tierney Park. As part of that portion of the project, the village is undertaking a redesign of Tierney Park to improve pedestrian access to and along the waterfront, enhance the green space, and improve public enjoyment of the space. The centerpieces of that design include the creation of a new elliptical gathering space and the construction of, at the northern end of, a new pavilion structure with ADA-compliant restroom facilities and concessions. The extension of a boardwalk along the edge of the water to connect the north and south beaches of the community, and the complete overhaul of parking, landscaping, and lighting, as well as reconfiguration of improvements to Main Street to allow a better public connection to the marina. The total budget for the park portion of the overall improvement plan, inclusive of site prep, earthwork, hardscape, landscaping, utilities, lighting, and the pavilion, is $4.5 million. The village allocated from the original funding that they received for the marina project with the DNR roughly $2.5 million toward this effort, which did leave a gap without these funds to proceed to the full vision that I just laid out. So the requested grant of $2 million will close the remaining gap on construction and allow the project to proceed as described above and to proceed at the same time that the marina work continues, so the two pieces can come together simultaneously. This funding will ensure that Tierney Park and the Lexington Harbor are able to maximize their potential as the primary economic driver for the region. Beyond being connected to the third most popular marina in the state of Michigan, Tierney Park benefits the entire Huron Coast by providing a first-rate venue for music programs and other programming activities throughout this year. And further, the redesigned park will enhance the connection between the marina and the Village Business District, creating an economic impact for the village and the surrounding area. Thank you for your interest in this project, and I'm more than happy to address any questions the committee may have.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Rep. Cavitt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My apologies for running in late. Thank you. I just caught the last presentation, so forgive me, or part of it. Is there any economic development analysis on this? If you build this, you can count on so much coming in and return on dollar, so to speak?
Well, Representative, not economic development analysis per se, but we have been involved now in the community, both as property owners and business owners, and we're deeply involved in the visioning that went on. And what I think the community has seen very clearly is that that a redeveloped harbor in Lexington and a better connection of that to really what Lexington's beating heart is now, which is as a resort and visitor destination community, is extremely powerful. We've seen, frankly, the negative version of that right now with the work that's underway on the marina and how much that has suppressed business activity. Now, that's a pain that the community is willing to go through to get to the other end of this. But there's no question, and as recently as I believe last week, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about frankly the Huron Coast, Lexington, Port Sanilac, and its discovery, I think, by the rest of the United States that we have two coasts in the state of Michigan, and so we've seen a lot of interest, and I think that article really was driven in part because of the work the community's undertaking. So I apologize for the not having an economic development study, but it's pretty apparent to everybody in the community how powerful this is.
Thank you. That's a good response. And I too have some here on coast. So.
Rep. Robinson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the presentation. This is obviously much more than a park renovation. This is kind of transformational, is it not?
It certainly is.
So I guess my question is the whole project $16 million and you're asking for $2 million. Obviously, you've done most of the heavy lifting, but for whatever reason, if you're not appropriated this money, do you have a backup plan to finish that project?
I wouldn't characterize it as a backup plan. We won't stop, but I would say to get to where the park needs to go, some good money would get thrown after bad, candidly, because what the community had to do to close gap was eliminate a whole lot of elements of this park that without this funding won't occur in the short term. And we would have to just, start really beating the bushes pretty aggressively. I feel like I would like to point out, and I thank you for your question, that the federal government actually recognized that there was gap closure here as well. I said $16.5 million. In point of fact, that doesn't include an additional $5 million that the Army Corps of Engineers brought to dredging, which was, as it turned out, necessary to get that component done. So it would be, I think the answer to the question is it would be a much more difficult task. We'd have to do it kind of over a number of years through private fundraising, which we're very familiar with doing and intend to do anyway here for long-term care and maintenance, but the capital component would be difficult.
So as a follow-up, so once it's built, is there going to be any more asks as far as this, or do you?
No, this is a reasonable, definitely not, because the village is very committed to maintaining and has done an excellent job maintaining the Tierney Park over the last 47 years, actually. It was just well beyond its useful life. The village is very committed to the maintenance. We're committed to annual fundraising to help support programming and endow the park with additional resources. We've had experience doing that in the city of Detroit with the Grand Circus Park Conservancy, and so we're confident that this will energize that activity, particularly partnering with the Sanilac County Community Foundation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. I think all my questions are answered too, so thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Rep. Alexander again with the Village of Port Sanilac.
Good morning again,
Welcome back.
Chair and members of the committee. I'm here in support of a $3.7 million request for Port Sanilac Municipal Harbor. Operated by the Village of Port Sanilac, this project focuses on modernizing critical marina infrastructure that's well beyond its intended lifespan. The harbor is not only a key economic driver for local businesses, but also serves as part of Michigan's broader harbor of refuge system, providing safe access to Lake Huron for seasonal and transient boaters. Ensuring this facility is structurally sound and compliant with modern safety and electrical standards protects both public safety and long-term economic activity in the Blue Water region. With that, I'd like to introduce Annie Soul, who I believe is on Zoom. And hopefully we've got that, or is that happening? She's the manager of Port Sanilac Harbor, and she can provide additional information and detail on the scope and urgency of the project.
Hello, I'm Annie Soul.
can
with
hear
the
ya.
Village- Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
There you go.
Hello. I am here asking for this money as I feel it is a need more than a want. Well, a need and a want as well. Edgewater Resources has helped us to be realistic with this effort. We were the first harbor of refuge, and we are very aged out. Our electrical system and fuel system is on borrowed time. Not only is this harbor service 64 boats, but it's very important to the economic drive in the region. It's a very pleasant environment for the boaters. We are non-compliant in many areas with ground fault protection. Our wiring under our docks is currently cloth, so that gives you an idea of how old it is. Our ADA standards are not there. Just a quick little, we had a rescue last year and they could not get the gentleman off the boat because they couldn't get the gurney to the boat, which really opened some eyes around here as well. And with what Edgewater has put together, they did not go above means. They just took care of the problems at hand to get us operating functionally. And with an underserved community as we are, this would put us in a good position. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Any questions, Rep. Cavitt?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the talk and the presentation there. Is there a plan B if you don't get the funding?
Well, we're just gonna hopefully get, we do have it in phases. They did break it down into phases if we can't get all the funding. If we have to go like $1 million at a time. But, with that being said, this $3.7 million project would turn into about 6.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Rep. Robinson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for appearing today. So the ask is for $3.7 million, and you mentioned the electrical specifically. How much of that 3.7 goes for the electrical, and then where does how much of that goes to how you describe as infrastructure improvements, or is that all you're talking about? Is it just for electrical, or is it a multifaceted project?
Well, so we would do the electrical and the new timbers and where steel needs to be replaced. We're only replacing steel where it needs to be replaced. So new timber and steel docks would be $1 million. The demo of existing that need to be replaced would be $55,000. Widening existing with the timbers would be $80,000. Existing with new replacement timbers is $300,000. The existing with new replacement timber and utilities is $1.2 million. And the upland site work and building improvements is $1,040,000.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm just curious if you've sought other avenues for funding.
We are going to apply. So Waterways only has 3.3 million to give for this year. And it has been recommended to apply for 800 to $1 million, depending on what we can match.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, next up, we have Representative Andrews with the City of St. Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Committee, and I believe the Mayor Pro Tem of St. Joseph should be on virtually. But while I look for him, just real quick, the request that we put in is for funds to draw a federal match for dredging of the St. Joseph Harbor. So the St. Joseph Harbor is one of only a couple of commercial harbors on the Lake Michigan side of Michigan, right across from the Chicago Lock, so a good shipping channel. Currently, the harbor serves as a major aggregate thoroughfare, so we serve about a 100-mile radius for aggregates and concrete out of that harbor, of which there is no alternative other than road shipping, effectively, which is much more expensive. And the harbor also has a lot of potential as a commercial CSX line that runs to it, so a lot of potential for increased industrial activity. But managing the depth of the harbor has been expensive and difficult for a city the size of St. Joe. And Representative Huizinga secured some funding in the budget last year, requiring a local match. And so we're hoping to get a good portion of that match met from the state side to help the city make this a reality. And if Commissioner Fernandez is on, I'm happy to let him take it from there.
Yes, thank you, Representative Andrews. Good morning, Chair Jenkins-Arno and the other members of the committee. My name is Michael Fernandez, and I serve as Mayor Pro Tem of the City of St. Joseph. I'm here in support of the legislatively directed spending request introduced by Representative Andrews to fund the federally authorized harbor deepening study for St. Joseph's commercial harbor. This request is a proactive investment in infrastructure resilience and long-term economic sustainability, not just for our city, but for the Southwest Michigan and broader Great Lakes region. St. Joseph plays a key role in our region's development for many reasons. In addition to our historic downtown, beautiful sunsets, and tourist attractions, we're an active business hub with CSX rail, highways, proximity to Chicago, and an active working commercial harbor. I'll focus today on that harbor and the profound impact that this investment could have on the region. Our 2025 shipping season saw 56 deliveries, delivering a total of over 317,000 tons of materials. Currently, St. Joseph's outer harbor is authorized at 21 feet and the inner harbor and turning basin authorized at 18 feet. The harbor also requires frequent dredging to ensure that the channel can be safely navigated. But even at its best, vessels find it difficult to load to full capacity. Instead, they have to use a practice called lightering, which requires them to unload a portion of their cargo in other deeper ports so that they can navigate our shallow harbor. This comes at a cost as shipping becomes less efficient and our regional growth is stifled. Much of what moves through our harbor is bulk aggregate, critical materials used in public road construction and infrastructure projects throughout the region. When shipments are light loaded or delayed, transportation costs increase, supply chains tighten, and ultimately taxpayers are paying more for public works. If we deepened our harbor by just 1 inch, the average freighter coming in could bring in an additional 83 tons of cargo per trip. Deepening by a foot would add nearly 1,000 tons per trip. This easily grows to over 50,000 tons of growth per year with just the vessels that we currently receive. In addition, the harbor requires frequent emergency dredging, and that work is expensive and reactive. We need a long-term solution to deepen the harbor and reduce these expenditures. This study will evaluate the navigational and economic benefits of increasing harbor depth, but the value is clear. The Great Lakes maritime system as a whole supports more than 1 million jobs and generates billions of dollars in economic activity annually. St. Joseph plays an essential role in supporting our regional construction, manufacturing, and supply chains. We're the only commercial shipping port between Burns Harbor, Indiana, and Holland, Michigan, and which is a significant distance for trucking materials. A deeper, more stable, efficient harbor strengthens our regional value proposition. We have the trifecta of highway, rail, and harbor, but our harbor depth is currently limiting our ability to fully benefit from this convergence. When businesses are evaluating our area for continued operations, expansion, or establishment, those logistics matter to them. It is my belief that by exploring this study, we are exploring opportunities to deepen not just our harbor, but our regional and statewide impact. Thank you for your time and for considering supporting this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Questions? Rep. Van Workum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for clarification, this is to do a study. This is not to actually dredge the harbor.
That's correct. The Army Corps will pay for dredging if it can be proven that the dredging is necessary and serves a purpose. And so the Army Corps requires that a study be done. The study total is going to cost somewhere between $3 and $4 million. The federal match is about $2 million. So if we can bring $1.5 million to the table, the city feels confident they can meet the rest of that. But alone, the city doesn't. I mean, that's about half the city's annual budget if they tried to meet that on their own. So that's where we come in. But yes, it's a study, but the once the study is complete, the Army Corps then steps in and actually does the dredging.
Who's conducting the study? Does the Army Corps conduct that study?
I believe it's a partnership with the Army Corps. All of this sort of runs through them at the end of the day, but the issue is the funding doesn't currently exist to do it. The city's wanted to do this for a very long time, and so we were grateful that the congressman brought us some funding to maybe get it done.
What is the depth of the harbor right now?
I believe the commissioner said it's 21 feet at the opening and 18 feet at the inner harbor. It's been deeper when the lake is higher, and it can get a little bit worse when the lake levels are down. But that's approximately where it's supposed to be.
How often are you on the cycle for dredging right now? Is it every 3 years, 5 years, or has not the St. Joe Harbor been dredged?
Commissioner, do you know the answer to that question?
Oh, there's currently annual dredging efforts that are occurring.
There's an issue with sand that comes in through from St. Joseph River down, and so sometimes they were doing, right now when the water levels are low, they're doing annual dredging. When the water levels were high, I think we were on a 2 to 3 year cycle, but it really varies depending on the lake levels and how much silt and sand is washing down the river.
Is this study to understand the silt and sand and create some barriers to prevent the silting, or this is just kind of an economic development type study?
To find a more permanent solution and deepen the harbor. The goal of the study from the money that was secured by the feds is to study how we can make the harbor deeper so that it needs less frequent dredging and so that we can also bring in larger vessels and heavier loads.
Thank you.
Rep. Robinson.
I'm sorry, he answered my question. Thank you, Chair.
Rep. Cavitt.
I'm sorry, Rep. Andrews, if you might have mentioned this, but how much what's the federal match?
I believe it was $2 million from the feds, and so we were requesting $1.5 million, and then the city was going to either put up another $500,000 itself or raise through other sources.
How much does that unlock from the feds, the $2 million? That is the amount?
A match, yeah. So it
match,
ends up
50-50 is
yeah.
the match. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I think that's, we've got it covered. So thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you being here by Zoom, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your time.
Next up, we have Rep. Cavitt with Elkanah Township.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm here to introduce Steve Besky from the Black Rivers Waterway Committee, and he is going to talk about their LDSI request for $2.5 million for a jetty at the mouth of the Black River. He will give a full overview of the project, and we will both be here to answer any questions. Thank you. Steve?
Thank you, Representative. Good morning, everybody. We are working with the DNR on this project. And the problem that we're trying to solve is that the mouth of the Black River at Lake Huron fills with sediment, and it renders it impossible for vessels wanting to enter or exit Lake Huron. The sediment fills in the river mouth very quickly, making dredging efforts relatively ineffective. The DNR dredges continually, only to have it filled back in within a week or two. Why is that important? In the event of a storm, rough waters, or mechanical trouble, a vessel on Lake Huron would likely have to seek refuge in Harrisville Harbor or Alpena. The distance between these two locations is about 30 miles, and it could be the difference between a good ending and a fatal boating accident. With the mouth of the Black River open, vessels could seek refuge approximately halfway between Alpena and Harrisville. We had a situation documented last year from our sheriff, Scott Stevenson, that occurred when a vessel ran aground and began taking on water. An elderly passenger began experiencing a medical emergency. The sheriff's vessel had to respond from Harrisville because the mouth of the river was not passable with his Lake Huron boat. Ultimately, the sheriff and the Coast Guard worked together to effect a rescue. Unfortunately, the sheriff's boat sustained significant damage during the response due to its inability to get out of the river. A little bit of history. The Michigan DNR supports this project, and they contracted GEI Engineering to conduct an initial study of this situation at the mouth of the river. The study concluded that construction of a dual rock wall jetty would be the best solution to reduce the impact of the accretion and sedimentation buildup at the mouth of the river. This funding, about $2.5 million, is being requested to enable completion of required studies, permit reviews with regulators, and ultimately construction of the dual rock wall jetty. Implementation of this initiative is valuable use of taxpayers' funds because of its significant potential to restore this site to its former environmental vibrancy and capability of providing long-term, safe, reliable, unobstructed access to Lake Huron. And that supports, as I mentioned, life-saving water rescue capability, most important, recreational boating and fishing. And by the way, we're one of the southernmost points in the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary and have a lot of people that want to go out of the river but can't to go diving in that part of the sanctuary. The project has strong community support. The Michigan DNR leadership has received letters of support from Representative Cavitt, Senator Hoytenga, Congressman Bergman, and literally all of the officials in Alcona County. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Thank you very much. We have questions? Rep. Robinson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's a lot here. If this money is appropriated and this gets done, is there any residual asks that will come forward? And the second part is, if this isn't funded and you're not appropriated this money, do you have a backup plan?
So I think the answer to the first question, residual, there probably will always be some cost because eventually there may be some dredging required, maybe on an every 7 year basis, something along those lines, to keep portions of the jetty open, but it certainly would not be on a monthly or year or even once a year basis. So I'm just projecting. I'm not an expert on bathymetry, so I don't know, but I can tell you that based on our discussions with the DNR, that this would take the dredging to like a 5 to 7 year cycle, and even then it would be minimal compared to what they do today. And then the second part of the question, please, again?
If you're not appropriated the funds, do you have a backup plan for this?
We do not have a backup plan at the moment. We do not. And been working on this very, very hard. Our Representative Cavitt has been helping, and we do not have a backup plan.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time today. Actually, Rep.
Madam
Cavitt,
Chair,
go
may I
ahead.
ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Mr. Brisky, could you share with us how much the DNR spends every year on dredging? I know they dredge several times a year. Do you have an approximate?
I do. Yes, it's between 25 and 30,000 per event. They send crews from Sheboygan or from Gaylord, depending on which crew is available. They have to bring equipment down. They stage the equipment, which takes a day or two. Then the crew shows up. It takes a day or two to dredge, and then it takes another day or two to get the equipment back to wherever they're going next. So it's quite laborious. We have had to work, they've had to spend a lot of money and effort in doing it, and we've had to work hard on trying to get permits for disposal of the spoils, which we have accomplished. But it's quite an initiative when they come to dredge.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time today. All right, next up, we have Rep. Wozniak with the Michigan Biosciences Industry Association. Okay, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're looking for funding for MishBio Workforce Apprenticeship Program. The amount requested is $2,062,234.20, just so everybody knows. I'm here in support of MishBio Workforce Apprenticeship Program, a pilot designed to address Michigan's urgent need for skilled biomanufacturing workers. MishBio is a nonprofit trade association dedicated to advancing Michigan's biosciences industry, including biopharma, medical devices, diagnostics, and agricultural and industrial biotechnology. The organization connects companies, researchers, and innovators while providing members with resources, education, workforce development support, and networking opportunities. MishBio also advocates for policies that strengthen the state's life sciences ecosystem and promote economic growth and innovation across Michigan. This $2 million investment will create high-wage career pathways, strengthen employer training partnerships, and help secure Michigan's leadership in life sciences and advancing manufacturing. This workforce will support the next generation of talent for companies across Michigan's growing biosciences ecosystem, including biopharma and biotech firms in Michigan such as Cayman Chemical, Corium, Rockwell Medical, Esperion, as well as startups and research organizations that fuel innovation statewide. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Stephen Rependalo, President and CEO of the Michigan Biosciences Industry Association.
Thank you, Representative Wozniak. Good morning, everybody. As the representative described, the industry footprint is one of the larger ones in the country across a broad set of segments, as he articulated. In the slide deck there, you see a snapshot of the various companies. We're in all corners of the state. That is not an exhaustive list. That's just some of the over 3,300 companies that we have. The fact is, though, that even though our industry has been growing sort of organically, we've lost ranking against other states, even those that have a smaller footprint and have less assets and capabilities. And the primary differentiator or reason for that has been that if you look at a competitive map nationally, Michigan does not have any workforce training programs that support particularly large employers. In conversations that I've had with major CEOs in tandem with the governor in attempts to get expansion projects here to the state, the refrain has always been come down to workforce and what training programs we have, which we don't. And so this program, this LDSI, would launch such a program initially focused in biomanufacturing, but it could be scalable and expanded to other areas for medical devices and other aspects of our manufacturing. Basically, what it would, this would be targeting non-degreed production workers. They would have to go through a curriculum, and then they would be placed with an employer for a year. and of course would walk out with some marketable skill sets, hopefully to be employed by that facility that they apprenticed at. As the representative noted, the wages in our industry are almost double anything else in the private sector, an average of $110,000 a year, and that's everything from production to degreed levels. We probably have at least a dozen or so biomanufacturing facilities scattered from the west side to the east side. We were the only state that was manufacturing 4 out of the 5 COVID vaccines. But there is a serious challenge in finding enough production workers to satisfy employer needs, and this would begin to address that. Happy to answer any questions.
I'll make one more statement before questions. I want you to pay attention to that figure, $110,000 average salary. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's good. Thank you. Rep. Cavitt? Oh, I thought you had a question. Any questions, Rep. Robinson?
I have a couple. It's kind of vague on where the money will be spent. I know you guys talked about an overview, but will there be employees? Is there a physical building? Where will that building be? And again, you said it was self-sustainable. How is it self-sustainable?
Yeah, and I do have financials if you want copies of that. None of the dollars are going to a training facility per se. We would love to have something like that, like other states do. If we were to get this appropriation, it would serve as a match for a federal ask that we're currently working with the MEDC to seek. That in fact would target the construction of a facility somewhere here in Michigan, probably in tandem with a community college. But no, the budget is basically going to, the first year would be a build out of the program, and so there would be some staffing, and then the bulk of it goes towards the individuals who would be in the apprenticeship program to fund that. So, and
I
again,
guess
I have
sorry.
financials here to share with you.
And then I think Representative Wozniak said it was sustainable afterwards. Did I mishear you? Or how is that how will you continue once this is done?
I suspect, based on other state models, there would probably be some continued asks. Like I said, though, we're going for a much larger tranche from the feds. That would hopefully, if nothing else, allow us to expand beyond just biomanufacturing and help out the medical device employers as well, a Stryker or others. But I reckon there would be some residual asks in the future. Probably not to the same level, but.
Well, do you eventually see a building in the forecast? And how would that be paid
ideal.
for?
That would be very ideal, because then the training goes hand in hand with the on-site facility. Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Rep. Van Workum?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I got kind of similar questions to Representative Robinson. Obviously, this committee hears a lot about workforce training and dollars, and we kind of hear different models of how it's done, whether it's a facility or working with a community college or another college that's developing a curriculum or something like that. Is this kind of more of the going pro model that you're looking here, that the dollars would go to an entity for training and skill building, or is it more, I guess, describe a little bit more to the model? That there's lots of different examples here of how we've done workforce training dollars.
Well, this one certainly tries to replicate a successful model in Massachusetts, which of course is a huge hub for, probably the largest hub for biomanufacturing in the country, but similar ones in North Carolina and even in Indianapolis and now in Ohio. So yes, there would be curriculum developed that could be deployed at multiple, one or more community colleges, particularly in the hubs. So imagine the Holland area, because there's a number of biopharmaceutical facilities there. Down in Kalamazoo, we've got some on the east side in Rochester and that area, here in East Lansing and Lansing area. So they could be deployed in multiple community colleges. And then, like I said, the apprentices would be placed at the different employers where they would get the upskilling and then hopefully get permanent jobs. It's a pretty straightforward set curriculum and then placement for hands-on training.
I think it's more like the Kettering program. They go to school for 6 months, and then they work for 6 months. They have a chance to earn while they're learning.
Yeah.
Okay, it's apprenticeship, so they're.
Apprenticeships,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
This is absolutely an apprenticeship program,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, and then how many students would the program be able to maintain with this amount?
Well, it's projected that for year 2 and 3, we would have cohorts of 20 to 30 each.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you very much.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming in today. All right, next up, we have our own Rep. Martus with the Flint and Genesee Group Foundation.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair, and fellow committee members for giving us the opportunity to testify this morning. When I think about what I'd like to be remembered for in this position, it hopefully would have been being kind and also my love and advocacy for Genesee County. And so the Flint and Genesee Group has been a tremendous partner as Genesee County has experienced job loss over time, disinvestment, and often being overlooked. This is a group that really tries to put the needs of Genesee County residents at the forefront, and they're coming up with some new and unique ways to try to bring more folks to Genesee County and build up the people that we have here.
Thank you. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here. My name is Christina Johnston. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Flint and Genesee Group. I'm joined by a couple of my colleagues. We are a group that is composed of 4 divisions, and we utilize those different divisions to move the levers of business talent in place to create a really great place to live and work and play. 2 areas that we are going to focus on, or that we focus on in our proposal, are education and talent and tourism. These 2 areas of work contribute to the vibrancy of our community by generating customers that will prioritize and patronize small businesses, create impact, and add to the sense of place in communities of Genesee County and beyond. Michigan doesn't just have a job shortage problem, we have a people shortage problem. In fact, Genesee County ranks 77th out of the 83 counties in the state of Michigan in net in-migration. However, the state investments and local efforts have helped Michigan move to 41st out of 50 states in the country in 2025 and resulted in the first net positive growth in population since 1990. This shows that investments in retention and attraction work for talent, they work. These funds will help, that we are asking for, will help us address population growth in Genesee County. They will address workforce participation in the long-term economic competitiveness to benefit not only our region, but the state. To continue the momentum of talent attraction and talent retention work happening in Flint and Genesee, we are requesting support for the expansion of proven initiatives, like the cleverly named Flint Turns program, Team Michigan Intern Cohort, UCAN and Flint Rally, Teen Quest, and Summer Youth Initiative. We also seek to create new resources, including a Genesee County lifestyle video that supports talent and business attraction and a comprehensive regional talent attraction and retention strategy that benefits all of Region 6, including Genesee, Huron, Lapeer, Sanilac, Shiawassee, St. Clair, and Tuscola counties. Explore Flint and Genesee is a division of the group that serves as Genesee County's destination marketing organization and Convention and Visitors Bureau. Destination marketing organizations function to drive economic impact, which supports local jobs to ensure our community's success and contribute to the livelihood of local residents. To advance economic growth through tourism, we are requesting funding support for tourist attraction and destination development, specifically consultant services, community pride-inducing events and programs, bid support funding, and tools that drive tourism marketing. The professional consultant will help define the structure of a sports authority that will help fundraise for and guide sports tourism and generate continued growth in that market for Genesee County. Additionally, tourism in Genesee County is growing faster than hotel development. Explore Flint and Genesee will utilize a contractor to create a business pitch for hotel developers to proactively spur investment that helps meet the current and impending demand for more quality accommodations. We also seek to bolster the pride that Genesee County through our Certified Tourism Ambassador Program, within events like Be a Tourist in Your Hometown, as well as marketing assets that encourage groups and individuals to see our community as a destination. We have maximized the use of local and county level resources. Without adequate funding, efforts to promote the area, improve infrastructure, and providing support for both local businesses, law enforcement could suffer, ultimately impacting both residents and our regional economy. Supporting Flint and Genesee and the work of Flint and Genesee Education and Talent is an investment in growth, stability, and prosperity for the entire region. We appreciate the opportunity to share the needs of Genesee County, but more importantly, we invite you to consider investments in positive momentum, growth, and the people and places that contribute to Michigan's success through their talent and travels.
Thank you very much. Questions? Anybody? Rep. Cavitt?
So a lot of this funding, thank you for being here, and I do believe, Rep. Martus, you do a good job for Genesee County. The majority of the money goes to consultants and administration, am I understanding that right, for studies?
Minimum amount to administration. We have grant funding and other resources, accommodations, tax revenue that helps keep our operations going. These are the extra projects, consulting expenses, marketing expenses, investing in assets that we would be requesting. Additionally, in the education and talent space, there's a component that helps with teen workforce development and summer wages for work experiences.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just curious, you have two separate things, workforce development and tourism. So if you weren't able to get the full funding, which would be more important to your area, do you think, at this point?
Both are scalable. So what we would probably try to do is think about what can we do in either or both lanes that can be scaled. So you can peel off portions of the request. We can hire fewer kids in the summer. There's a variety of ways that we can grow or shrink the funding usage for these projects. We're also flexible on the timelines. So, depending on when things are approved or how things are implemented, we run these programs year-round and are happy to adjust.
Okay, very good. And then what's the sustainability? What are your hopes for keeping this going?
Sure. Well, these are all expansions of existing work. We have a tremendous amount of grant funding that supports our education and talent programming. Some of those have been threatened. We continue to try to find additional resources and diversify our revenue for that work. The Explore Flint and Genesee is funded through accommodations tax revenue in a contract with Genesee County. And that has some limitations to it. We've really maximized what we can get out of that contract. And so this really helps us grow, not just sustain the work that's already happening.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Rep. Morgan with Washtenaw Community College. Is Rep. Morgan here? Okay, we'll move on to the next one then, because she's been here a long time. Unless they're coming in. Okay. Is he? Okay. We'll just bring Schmaltz up and then, okay. Rep. Schmaltz, do you want to come forward with Jackson County Fairgrounds? And then we might have, well, we'll just bump Morgan to the.
You didn't answer your call. You didn't answer your phone.
What's that?
Do you want me to do mine first here before?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and then we'll have Rep. Morgan come up after that. Thanks.
The request has to do with infrastructure improvements at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. The $1.3 million requested will replace aging facilities with a modern multi-use space that supports year-round agricultural education, 4-H, Future Farmers of America programming, livestock exhibitions, and community events. The new open-air covered arena would be used for training activities for careers in agriculture, farming, animal science, veterinary services, and skilled trades. This would complete a key phase of the Jackson County Fairgrounds 216 master plan and provide agricultural education for many young people and others, strengthening workforce development in agriculture. And Jackson County Parks Director Kyle Lewis is here to tell you more about the project. Kyle.
Thank you, Representative Schmaltz, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today to testify on this project. So Keeley Park has been home to the Jackson County Fair since 1854, so 173 years. I want to introduce our Fair Director, Emily Thomas is here with us as well today. In 2016, a master plan process was completed, a really thorough process with the goal to make the grounds more of a year-round facility. And I would say since 2019, we've really transformed the southern half of the grounds. Over $10 million has been invested into the southern half of the grounds with new utilities and infrastructure, and we opened a new 30,000 square foot event center. So we've tackled a lot of the southern half of the ground. This would really ignite the northern half of the ground, and that's kind of the goal here. With the new things that we've added, I think we've made great steps toward accomplishing our goal of making it more of a year-round facility and a great community asset and a regional attraction. We see over 234,000 visits each year, and over 131,000 of those are regional, so it's pretty used heavily statewide. But this, like I said, would really ignite the transformation of the northern half of the ground and build upon the over $10 million that's been invested into the southern half. So, like Representative Schmaltz mentioned, this would really serve a lot of youth. We would be able to expand the different events that we have there. We have a great event there called Project Red, which is Rural Education Day, where all third graders in Jackson County come and learn about agriculture and where their food comes from, and we'd be able to do more events like that and host more exhibitions for livestock and all sorts of animal-related things. So be happy to answer any other questions.
Yeah, we do have a vibrant youth agricultural programs in our community, and so many young people want to get involved in this, and we'd love to continue to give them the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Rep. Robinson.
No.
Oh, you don't have one. Oh, anybody have a question? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Anybody have a question? Okay. Well, it sounds like it's a good project. I was just curious, is that park, is that adjacent to am I reading this right? I'm kind of getting in on, I had the wrong one. Is that connected to the fairgrounds there? So it's just it's going to be added to the fairgrounds?
So
is the
Keeley Park is actually the
pavilion?
fairgrounds, so.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Sorry about that.
No problem.
And is there would be demolition involved with the project at all to take down the current facility?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then it said in your report that there was private and public funds already raised. How much has been raised from those areas?
Yeah, so that's more so on the portions that we've already completed. So we've invested $10 million into the grounds. About $4 million of that was private-public partnership, mainly with one of our local credit unions to build our event center. So we've put in the $10 million over the last few years. This kind of would ignite the second half, and we think it would be kind of a catalyst for beyond this. We'd be able to do other things in our master plan. I think it would really ignite the whole northern half of the grounds there.
Okay, so significant investment from the locals
Yes.
as well. So, all right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you.
All right. If you don't mind, Rep. Schmaltz, we're going to invite Rep. Morgan up. And he is here with the Washtenaw Community College.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Apologies for being late. We are a week without a scheduler, and it turns out they keep me on time, or used to anyway. Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Great to be with you to speak in support of the Wozniak Community College Workforce Solutions Center. This proposal is a one-stop collaborative hub connecting employers, students, and entrepreneurs. Employers across our community's region have said the same thing time after time. They're struggling to access skilled talent. The Workforce Solutions Center addresses this need, creating a space where employers can meet talent where they're at. The project is directly aligned with Michigan's 2025 Workforce Development Plan, with a goal of advancing talent development, driving economic growth, and making Washington Community College a premier regional partner in workforce development, where it has already been doing incredible work for many years. The request additionally has the support of Ann Arbor Ypsilanti Regional Chamber, as well as Ann Arbor Spark. And this investment represents an opportunity to advance Michigan's economy, connect our residents with good-paying jobs, and position Washington Community College as a national leader in workforce innovation. And this proposal has co-sponsor support from Rep. Wilson, Foreman, Reingans, and Schmaltz, and is $1.5 million out of a $6.4 million project that will be incredibly beneficial to all of Southeast Michigan and help support our statewide workforce development goals. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions? Rep. Cavitt.
Is there a plan B if you don't get the funding?
I know the college has been trying to work on basically redeveloping a space that is currently unutilized on campus for a while. So I think they will continue trying to work toward this, but the state support for this is critical to making it happen.
Thank you, Rep.
Okay, you answered one of my questions, was if it's going to be a new building or a renovation of an old one. Are they going to use any of the funds for that, the actual facility, or is it going strictly to the program?
So the total project is everything. I believe the state portion, I don't know what part is broken down specifically, but this is an old child care center that is no longer used. And so a lot of it is really great space. It's right in the heart of campus, but not able to be utilized for hardly anything because of the structure of the facilities. But the programming itself, I believe, is where the focus is for our involvement there.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it. All right, next up, we'll invite Rep. Schmaltz back. Oh. With Lean Rocket Lab. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Thank you again, Madam Chair and committee. Attracting new businesses and helping those who want to start businesses is where Lean Rocket Lab comes in. Lean Rocket Lab in Jackson offers coworker space, meeting rooms, access to legal and design professionals, mentorship, programs to help startups with funding. We're asking for $150,000 for expansion of Lean Rocket Lab programs as the agency continues its work reaching out to regional manufacturers. The money will help small and mid-sized manufacturers adopt new technologies that improve productivity and competitiveness. Lean Rocket Lab connects local manufacturers with technologies like automation, robotics, AI, and machine monitoring, and provides hands-on support. This investment helps protect high-wage manufacturing jobs, strengthens our regional economy, and ensures local companies remain competitive without having to relocate or reduce their workforce. And joining me right now is Brandon Markin, his CEO of Lean Rocket Lab. Brandon.
Thanks to the committee. Thanks to Representative Schmaltz. It's good to be with you guys today. As the representative said, my name is Brandon Markin. I'm the CEO at Lean Rocket Lab. We're probably the most powerful economic development organization in Michigan that you've never heard of. We're in Jackson. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We're the designated MEDC small business support hub. We're the Smart Zone incubator, gateway incubator for Jackson County. And we are the critical bridge between high-tech startup entrepreneurship and the 5,000 small to mid-sized manufacturers in our region that define the economy of South Central Michigan. This $150,000 appropriation will fund the scaling of some of our proven programs of technology scouting, vetting, integration support for regional manufacturers. I want to be really clear, this is an economic development investment. South Central Michigan is home to a high density of traditional job shops, low-volume manufacturers, high-value manufacturers, and the supporting finishing operations that are the backbone to our local workforce. These businesses face critical challenges. They need to modernize operations, increase throughput, improve quality amidst a persistent shortage of skilled labor and global competition. Unlike large OEMs and Tier 1 corporations, these SMMs lack the internal R&D departments and the innovation bandwidth required to identify and de-risk new technologies such as AI, robotics, machine monitoring, and industrial IoT that are necessary to remain competitive. For the last 7 years, we've built experience and capabilities in the advanced manufacturing sector. Lean Rocket Lab provides specialized services to our regional manufacturers. We proactively scout Michigan and Midwest startup ecosystem for advanced technologies that are ready for deployment. A central component of this work involves hosting pitch events, workshops, on-site demo days. We visit manufacturers, audit their facilities. We facilitate introductions to these technology companies. These activities provide structured forums for our small and medium manufacturers to get connected and exposed to the right vetted technology startups. By bringing these two groups together, Lean Rocket Lab facilitates immediate connections that lead to real-world adoption. Our comprehensive process includes vetting, rigorously assessing the reliability and ROI of new technologies before they ever reach a shop floor, connecting, acting as a trusted matchmaker through high-impact events, targeting business introductions, and adoption support, helping regional firms navigate implementation to ensure these tools increase productivity without placing undue strain on the existing staff. The specific moment in time for this request, just if I could speak to it, we have tremendous MEDC support. We've received federal grants from both the DOE and the DOD to do the work that we do. We've run the Industry 4.0 Accelerator with Automation Alley and Centropolis. We are really good at this part of our job of working with small and medium manufacturers and helping them with the technology. What we've learned in the recent years, and actually it's been part of our work in the Small Business Support Hub, is that there is a readiness component for the local startups, the manufacturing technology companies, to be ready to get in and work with the small and medium manufacturers that they're not used to. We get paid by big OEMs like Ford and GM to do this work, and the MEDC helps us on the manufacturing side. But where we specifically want to use this money is for readiness for the startups, and it has to do with technical assistance. Oftentimes we need to bring in experts that help them with things like design for manufacturability analysis, help them with software integration to maybe be able to handle like DoD type facilities and things like that. And so we want to use this money to support that work. And lastly, and I'll end with this, the Jackson Area Manufacturers Association has successfully completed a training center in Jackson, $5 million facility with a bunch of support and partnership. And we're actually working on being able to demonstrate these technologies in the training center. And so this is a critical component there too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions? Okay, so my question just has to do, basically what you're doing is providing a service to these very new businesses that are trying to get up and running, it sounds like.
Yeah,
So-
it's really an adoption. So these are companies that are scaling and they need help working with small manufacturers. And so we provide the technical assistance and the training to help them demonstrate and actually integrate into manufacturing. There's a huge chasm in hardware and in technology and manufacturing that most people don't fully appreciate. And on the manufacturer side, and this is the other side of the coin and half of the equation, is we have to do a ton of work to educate the small manufacturers on how the technology will shape their businesses, help them with labor shortages, and keep them competitive. And so we spend all of our time and energy on that matchmaking component. And there's just really strategic things that have to be done to connect those two.
Okay, and so they get grants to to take part in the program? Is
Yeah,
that how it works?
so what we do for the startups is we help them with commercialization, we help them with engineering, we help them with design for manufacturability, and we usually do it in the form of education and technical assistance grants. So small grants to help them do something that will move them closer to being ready, commercial ready. And then on the manufacturer side, it's tech demo days, it's pitch events, it's workshops, education events to help them understand that this technology is available and will change their businesses and keep them in business. And we've been doing this at a large scale in some ways, but to do it at a local level for the small manufacturers in Jackson and for the startups in Michigan is critical.
Okay, very good. And then how many businesses do you think you could help with this 150,000?
Yeah, it would be probably the 1,000 manufacturers in Jackson is our target market. And then we have a pipeline of hundreds of startups that we've vetted from across the globe. We've been doing this for over 5 years. And so we would be trying to expand our impact with 1,000 manufacturers in Jackson.
Well, very good. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in. All right.
With
Oh,
you guys,
great.
because I figured you probably didn't know who we were, so I'm going to leave this
Okay,
with you
thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, Rep. Schmaltz, you're up again with altering outcomes.
Thank you again, Chair and Committee. Altering outcomes is all about eliminating barriers to employment. Barriers like transportation, housing instability, lack of job skills, or readiness support. The $500,000 requested would go to renovating the group's vacant building into a 16-room boarding house with an employment training center and transportation hub. Drive Staffing Solutions partners with Altering Outcomes to help connect people underserved and vulnerable in our area by helping them get to their jobs, driving them, and helping with their job training. This group works with the Jackson Interfaith Shelter, which is our homeless shelter, and Gems of Jackson, a 24-hour child care center, focusing on transportation for those who don't have a ride to their jobs. Eric Rice, president of Drive Staffing Solutions, is here to tell us more. Eric?
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Drive has been an amazing opportunity over the last 5 years. We started in Jackson July 2022 and did our first job fair at the Jackson Interfaith Shelter. We've been there every Thursday since then, minus holidays and stuff like that. But we've done hundreds of job fairs, and we meet employees on Thursday and we get them started working on Tuesday. It's been a huge success for the community. It started out as a job fair just for the shelter. Within 4 weeks, we took the shelter from 0% employment to 60%, and we've maintained that throughout the last 4 years. But it's grown now. We now work with the Department of Corrections. We work with recovery groups. We still meet at the shelter every week, probation officers, parole officers. Our goal is to meet people on Thursday and get them started by Tuesday. So we work very, very quickly. Our whole focus, my whole team's focus, is on the barriers to employment. The first barrier that we addressed was transportation. When we started our program, we had 13 vans taking community members to and from work, entry-level manufacturing jobs. We help with steel-toe shoes, uniforms, whatever it might be that keeps them out of the workforce. With that, though, we got a lot of people working, but we started to see at the shelter that our community members were returning to our job fairs 90 to 120 days later. The Jackson Interfaith Shelter is a very special place. It's rooted in faith and has accountability systems in place. And once our community members leave the shelter and leave that structured environment, typically what they consider housing could be a hotel, could be couch surfing, living with a family. It's not what I consider stable housing. So as soon as they leave, the housing falls apart. Once the housing falls apart, their attendance at work falls apart. And when that happens, they're unemployed and back on the street. So Steve, the CEO of the shelter, and I have been working on transitional housing for the last couple years. We have 3 houses. We keep everything within a block of the shelter. We have 3 houses, currently 17 rooms, 2 apartments. We have 9 community members living in the houses right now. We're in the process of renovating them. We also purchased a old empty funeral home that's also a block from the shelter. It's not the prettiest building, but to me it's a gem. It's absolutely perfect for what we do. Our community members meet us there every day. We pick them up for work at 6 a.m., 2 p.m., and 10 p.m. Right now, we're working with the city to get the inside of the building open, but with the funds, we would put it to rebuilding the facility, putting in an employment center, training center, and boarding room. We believe we can get 16 to 20 rooms in this facility. 100% of the funds would go towards the facility itself, 0 towards administration. The project's 100% sustainable. Our houses run on their own. We believe that our community members should pay something for every service we provide. So they do pay us for transportation. They do pay for their housing. When we buy steel toe shoes or whatever it is, once we get revenue flowing, they pay us back over time. So it's open to questions, I guess.
Thank you very much. Rep. Cavitt.
Thank you. It sounds like a noble cause. How do companies get your service to bring workers to their facilities? Do they pay a subscription fee to you guys, or do they cover any of your transportation costs, or is the onus on the person who's working?
It has, it's changed over the years. So prior to doing this, I ran a factory in just outside of Ann Arbor, manufacturing facility. And ironically, when I left that career, my employer became my biggest customer. So it was a smooth transition. But our biggest issue when I was running the facility was labor. It was coming out of COVID, huge expense. So when we started with the 13 vans, the customers were carrying a large burden of that cost. And over the years, we've improved our efficiencies. Currently, the employees are carrying the full burden of the transportation housing cost. But that's how we got into the factories.
So there's accountability there.
It has to be.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And the money that you're requesting would go solely to that new facility, the funeral home?
funeral
That
home,
you're-
yep.
Yeah, that you're planning to renovate. It wouldn't go to the others or the other homes that you
Correct,
have?
100% to the funeral home. It's a very large, empty building. If the funds aren't awarded, then we would just repair the front office portion. It's been vacant for several years, so to bring it up to code, the funds would be to bring it up to code and put in a boarding.
Okay, very good. And have you sought funds from other places too, or is just coming to the state is your first ask?
This is the first time I've come to the state for an ask. We did partner with the Interfaith Shelter for a Leo grant on the community center. So we were one of the 4 organizations that participated in that.
Okay, very good. Well, I appreciate you coming in today.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yep. Oh. Okay. Oh, all right. We are going to be meeting back after session today, so I will say that the subcommittee will go at ease at the call of the chair.